Alright, so I just 100% the Battlefield 6 campaign, and what that means is I had to beat it in the hardest difficulty. I got all the collectibles in each level. I did all the challenges associated with the campaign, as well as any level-specific achievements that there were. And I just want to kind of give my 2 cents on what I thought about the story, kind of what I thought about the levels and stuff like that, the gameplay, is it worth your time, how long it took me to beat, things like that. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So the story, and I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, just in case you want to play through it. But the story, I'm kind of a sucker for this, but the story, it's all a flashback, and so it kind of starts off. You start in like the present day, and then each level is a flashback leading up to those events. Like I said, I'm a sucker for these kind of stories. I love stories like this where you start in the present and you flashback and see the events that get to the present. I love those kind of stories. You can kind of think about like Black Ops 1. In Black Ops 1, you start off and they're saying like, Mason, what do the numbers mean? What do the numbers mean? And then you go through each level, and each level is like a flashback. You finally get to the end of Black Ops 1, and then you kind of figure out like what the numbers mean, stuff like that. So that's how this story kind of is. It's just a big flashback, and I think it's not awful, but it's also not great. That's kind of how I feel about it. If you want like a great story-focused game, your best bet, you want to probably play like Witcher 3, God of War, BioShock Infinite, Mass Effect. Those are the games you're probably going to want to probably be playing. If you want a good story game, probably want to be touching those kind of games. But the story in this game is also not bad by any means. It's Battlefield. They're not really known for their campaigns, but they're definitely more known for the multiplayer and the gameplay and stuff like that. So I'll give them kind of a pass. It's not like it's what they're known for. And so let's see. That's kind of like the story. That's how I felt about the story. And it was really short. To 100% the story, it took me about 5 hours, I think, at most. And that was with me on the hardest difficulty. That was with me having to look up all the collectibles, look up all the achievements for each level, having to replay the game and do the challenges. It took me about 5 hours. So, pretty short game. And let me see, I'm going to skip on through it. So, it's a pretty short game. It's definitely, I think, short. It's not longer than it needs to be, is what I want to say. It's not awful. I think it's just enough time where, like, once you feel like you're maybe starting to get bored, it's over. The levels, I think there's 9 levels. Each level takes about 30 minutes. I think the longest one took about 45 minutes, and that was with me dying a lot. So the levels are pretty short. And I think the gameplay, just, you can kind of see it in the background. It's not bad. It's really easy. In this video, this isn't on the hardest difficulty. This is actually on the easiest difficulty. But even on the hardest difficulty, it wasn't that much different than what you're seeing in the gameplay right here. The enemies, yeah, they do more damage, but you could kind of just run around, get shot at, stuff like that. And honestly, the NPCs, they carry you throughout the game. The NPCs are just absolutely broken in this game. Right now, I've got one NPC with me, but at most, sometimes I think you'll have like your squad is 4 people, so you have 3 other people, and they just, I'm telling you, you can just sit back and just let them carry you. So it's not like this is really hard. You could easily beat this on the hardest difficulty, and it's not an issue. So let's see. So that's story, gameplay, I think playtime, the achievements. Like I said, I think the achievements were all super easy. It wasn't even anything like hard. It was like on this mission in a tank, shoot down a chopper, like, and the chopper is like right in front of you. It's stuff that you won't miss it if you just play normally, really. So, and I think that's really all I've got to say about this. Like I said, just to conclude, it's short, it's sweet, it's not gonna blow your socks off. There is, in the story, there is a little bit of a plot twist at the end. It's kind of obvious. If you just kind of know this game and stuff, it's kind of obvious what the plot twist will be, but at the same time, it's still a good plot twist just because you still don't really expect it. You don't know what to expect. So there is a plot twist, like I said. It's not like gonna super blow your socks off. It's not gonna be like BioShock Infinite's plot twist. Nothing like that. It's not gonna be something where like after you play this game, you're gonna need to look up videos and stuff on you know, kind of like understanding what the heck just happened. This isn't one of those games. It does end. I feel like it ends a little abruptly. I will say it doesn't really feel like the conclusion is what I was wanting. Uh, I don't know, but like I said, it was only 4 hours, and that was with me doing hardest difficulty, all the achievements. If you played on the easiest difficulty, like I'm doing in the background, I was kind of like just screwing around, just trying to get some content. But if you were to like just sprint on through the levels, you could easily do the levels in like 20 minutes each. You could probably finish this game in like 3 hours on recruit. So, anyways, yeah. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed this. I just kind of want to give my opinion on this now that I have finished the campaign 100%. Everything's done. I can now say I've done this to its fullest extent. I think there's nothing left for me to do. And now I can just kind of enjoy the multiplayer and I think the upcoming Battle Royale. And so I'd say, you know, give this thing a go. Like I said, it won't take forever. But at the same time, if you don't play this campaign, it's not like you're missing out on much. So that's all I've got. See ya.